Hey, what's going on, everybody? Thanks for tuning in to the Bro Media Podcast. I'm Lazarus. Thank you for joining us tonight, or morning, or afternoon, whatever time of day that you're joining us here. Just thank you for just joining here. Again, I'm Lazarus. I'm one of the co-founders for Bro Media. We're just two great human beings having conversation here, and honestly, we're catching up here right now. So I'll pass it on to you because we have a lot to catch up on, Ryan.
So much, man, and thanks for always having the hosting all this technology to get us on the on YouTube and out there in the internet world. I'm Ryan. I'm one of the co-founders for Bro Media Podcast. It's been a sheesh. It's been probably at least 4 weeks since we've had a second to do another podcast. We've both been busy. We've been traveling. Work's been crazy for me, but blessings upon blessings. Just to
Definitely.
kind of get out there and stay busy and stay in the mix. I know we were working on music together. I've got recording software going. I've got a lot. I'm looking forward to the next 2 weeks. I'm going to be taking off, not this week, but the week after, just not really do a lot, just to be able to tinker around and play in here and do stuff. I mean, I've been posting my bass video on Instagram, but that's like 30 seconds of my life while I'm waiting to leave, or just I got a second to play.
Yeah.
And a lot of those videos is like a first time, first take. It's just I don't care if it's good or not. It's just it brings joy to my life. I love music. I love chatting with you, man. We got to get back on the regiment of doing these podcasts, and super thankful for everybody that's subscribed and liked our podcasts and stuff. It really tremendously helps us out, gets
Definitely.
the word out. And the key is just repetition, and we understand that. But life's been pretty good. It's been crazy. There's a lot to catch up on, man. There's like we got a new president now. We eventually, and then in January
Yep.
we got drones. We got we got threats to our GPS. We got all kinds of crazy stuff happening in
Yeah,
our
let's kick it
our
off.
world.
Let's kick it off. I think the last time we podcasted was during election season, and man, was it crazy. And I think that the thought is that the Trump won humongously. Like
Yeah,
blew
huge.
blew huge. He blew
You
it
know it.
out of the water. Like everybody, I think, can come together, and the country can really say we're not doing good, financially. We're not doing good culturally. We're not doing good, as brothers and sisters, as neighbors. And I think people made that loud and clear. I don't know. What do you think?
I think so. I think there was a lot of people that were devastated, and that were really crushed by the results. But looking at the map, like it was the nation kind of just said, okay, I mean, why not? Let's try. Um, you know, a couple assassination attempts on the dude. I know he's not for everybody. We always kind of take a buy like a very neutral stance on stuff, just to where we're not getting into the matrix of dealing with keyboard warriors and stuff.
Yeah,
But I
yeah.
mean, honestly, I think that we're just two dudes talking about it. But if you really look at the map of the red states that happened, there were just blue cities. Um, there wasn't a whole lot of people and honestly, it's been pretty quiet as far as I know on the internet with people that were really voting for the Democratic Party. I haven't heard a lot. I mean, other than people are scared to go outside and um, scared for their children's lives and all of these things. But I uh, the old saying is the proof is in the pudding, and we'll see what happens. I feel like our economy is going to boost. Personally, it may take a while. I know we're going to feel a little bit of a backlash if there's tariffs and stuff. I think that will make things more expensive for a little bit, but it's just weather the storm,
Oh
and
yeah.
that's going to pour money back in to our economy. That's just my opinion. I don't expect anybody listening to agree with me, or if you do, that's cool too. But it's not really a battle of wits. That's my own personal opinion about it. Um, you know, there's it's I'm excited for a change. The direction that we're going, or we're going, price of materials for business, 2x4s, unistrut stuff, and any conduit, stuff like that was astronomical. You know, it
Right.
used to be $6 a stick, and now I think it's $14 a stick. And you need 4,000 sticks. You know, your bids are going to be different. You know, and it's groceries. That's something that everybody can feel
Everybody
in their
can relate with
pocketbook.
that. Everybody has to eat. Everybody goes shopping for the most part.
Yeah, I mean, a trip to Costco is, we used to laugh and say, "Oh, we got out of here for $100," which was like the minimum. Now it's the minimum 300-400 bucks. You can just, you know, and back in the day, that was a car payment.
That's
You know?
essentials. That's toilet paper.
Yeah,
That's,
yeah,
paper towels,
mm,
some vegetables, some fruit. Fruit's through the roof right now.
yeah,
A box of strawberries. My kids love fruit. I rather them eat fruit than chips and cookies and all that stuff. So
yeah,
we watch the price of fruit.
yeah.
Um, $6.99 for a box of strawberries.
Wow.
Like that's insane. They used to be 250. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah,
So definitely hopeful for the direction that we're going to be going into. Um, one things that I'm seeing, it's just kind of like it's like sabotaging the next administration. Have you seen the Biden administration selling like the border wall, the steel? Have you seen
yeah,
like
yeah,
and I don't think it's Joe Biden himself, and I think it's the bureaucrats and all that stuff.
yeah.
Unless it is Joe Biden, then that's even more jacked up. You know what I
Well,
mean?
dude looked super happy when they met in the Oval Office. Like he looked relieved.
It's
He
like
had
it
a
was like
giant smile on his face.
Jill was looking at him like another piece of meat. Did you see
Yeah,
that picture when they were sitting?
yeah, yeah, yeah. Someone said, "Find you a girl that looks at Donald Trump like Joe Biden
Yeah.
looks at Trump." You
So
know,
so there's
um,
a possibility that they've definitely voted for him out of spite. You know what I mean? Just because
there
they did the man
there was
wrong.
yeah, there was a video of him putting on a MAGA hat. Which was, I don't know if he did it as a joke
I
or
mean,
if.
he did it probably at the wrong time because that picture went viral, obviously, and the wrong time. It's election season. You don't do little mistakes like that. You know what I mean?
I kind of wonder if Kamala had beef with Biden, towards the end there, because they never mentioned each other. You never heard him, actively speaking
Well, she
about
was
her.
distancing herself from him because that was the plan because she owns the economy. She owns, the air right now. She is the administration right now.
Yeah,
So she was doing everything she can to be hopeful and all this other stuff that she was trying to sell, to the American people.
yeah,
And I don't think that it's stuck. I don't think she could have easily gotten away from it just because she is high prices right now. She is inflation right now.
yeah.
And
Well, I think it was.
at the end of the day, she finished her $1 billion campaign still owing money.
Owing money. Yeah, that's really unfortunate, man. I mean, it's that would suck to try to run for the most, sought after or prestigious job, spend all this money and you borrowed it, and now you owe it back and you didn't win. That's like literally taking all your money to the craps table and then
Yeah,
betting on black and
it rolled red.
you know, and red it went red, or it's sad, man. But I mean, it's unfortunate, but I think that everything played out the way it was supposed to play out.
For sure.
Whether people accept it or not, I'm personally excited about what the future brings. My business was thriving, um, you know, 5 years ago. It's still thriving now, but it just costs so much. And it doesn't affect me, like I'm still getting work, but it's like I had one massive project that was supposed to start in the fourth quarter. We were the only ones bidding. The bid was awarded to us, but the project was over budget for their fourth quarter, so it had to be pushed to the first quarter, possibly the second quarter, because they're so behind. They're already borrowing money from their first quarter budget,
Hmm.
because everything has cost so much money to continue. Money is expensive right now, and the corporations are feeling it. And so, with my business, my money comes from the commercial world. I don't charge, residential and friends and family a lot of money to do what I do. Commercial world, I make my money in that realm. So, unfortunately, like I had 3 or 4 massive bangers that were just like I was going to have to recruit men to come out and facilitate these jobs, and I was just project manage the projects and still make a really good chunk. But I had 3 or 4 of those jobs go, we're really sorry, not in our budget now for the fourth quarter, but we do want it done. You know, so that's kind of how it feels, and like for us is like just
It's just
you know
everybody's watching
yeah.
their nickels and dimes right now.
Yeah, and then
Even
in, like,
even
our daily life,
companies.
it's
Yep.
it's like a paycheck to paycheck thing with residential or just regular folks that work a normal job. Their budget is tighter, and um, the way that they budget for stuff. Like, I've been blessed in my business to not, have to run a budget for things, but I also don't do a lot of frilly things. I like nice stuff, but I don't travel and I don't really go to a super expensive restaurant, although I will and twice a year. But you could have a really good mom and pop Italian food restaurant or a Mexican food restaurant that's reasonable, for $50 and then have a great time.
Right.
For me, you know, coming up as not really having a lot of money, my family, they didn't have they made everybody nobody went without, but we weren't, my parents weren't balling by any means. They had a lot of kids to take care of. So when I have money, it's different. When you don't have money, you think you're going to spend all this money if you had the money. When you have money, you're thankful for it, and you don't act like a new money guy. You don't
Right.
just if now if it's rolling in like heavy, if you're making like these multi-million billionaires. Yeah, you literally can't spend it. Like you can't get out of your budget no matter what you do. And I'm not there yet. I welcome that. I manifest that in my life. I'm
Right.
cool with that.
Same here,
I'm
Lord.
down with that. Hey, I am open to it. I see the 1111s come in every day. I see that on the clock. I manifest,
Hmm.
wealth and health into my life. But it's I'm never thankful and blessed that there's always enough. And that's really where I come down to. Even though our economy is screwy and we're going through a storm and all of these things are happening in our world, we've got crazy things, threats, and all that you can spiral, you can go down the rabbit hole and freak yourself out.
Yeah, the
But
best thing you can do is control what's around you, like
yeah,
especially your family, your
yeah.
household.
I look at
There's
my family and I look at, the 5 dogs we have and the people we take care of. And I'm like, everybody has what they need and nobody is wishing for.
exactly.
And if they do want more, they can have it, and that's what I'm thankful for. Not um things, it's not items. It's like, what do you need? That's kind of like Christmas doesn't really mean that much to us as far as like gifts go, because if you need something throughout the year, just get it.
Right.
Like why why do we have to wait?
I
And
know
I
me and
don't
my wife
like
were talking about it. She's like, "Hey, what do you want for Christmas?" Like, babe, like I hate to say it, but we get what we want because we can,
yeah,
throughout the year,
yeah.
let it be, new shoes, new clothes, a new camera or something. Thank God that we're
Yeah.
super blessed right now, like that we're able to do that type of stuff.
And
Don't take it for granted because, there's been moments in our marriage where we had to be couponing, you know what I mean?
bro, the
Like,
first year of my marriage, 2003 Christmas, we had nothing.
yeah.
We had nothing. And the only thing that we did on Christmas Day was hold hands and pray together and give thanks that we had each other.
Yeah.
That was it. And we went to dinners at the family and stuff. We really legitimately had nothing. You know, I was working for a alarm company back then and I was making 15, 16, $17 an hour. He
Mhm.
worked full time. We had just bought a house. we had all the things, but we
Hmm.
didn't have the money because you're starting out as a new couple.
New
I'd never
family.
before, and I didn't know what it was expensive, So um, we're always remembering where where you came from. We still, even though we just had that, that was enough.
Right.
And it wasn't just, and so that's kind of like the mindset to be humble all the time
Hmm.
and to always appreciate that you'll always have enough and you're always given enough as long as you apply yourself, as long as you use the skills that you and the ways to make money that you know how to do it, whatever it is. If you're selling feet pics on the internet, cool. I don't have feet. I could sell pics. Maybe, who knows? Whatever it is that you're doing, use that as a blessing. That's providing you income. So, don't sell yourself short. There's If you don't want to make money, you just don't want to work. You
Right.
just don't want to. You're just not creative enough. Literally, I know people that sell their underwear and feet pics on the internet, and they make a killing, and they make more money than I do. They don't do anything. So,
Hey, the
not
thought,
that
the
I
thought, the
advocate.
thought has come to
Um,
mind. I'm gonna sell my feet picture too, dude.
we joked about it when Carrie needed new. She had all her veneers from when she was younger. They started as you get older. They just start to your mouth and your jaw changes, and they start to
Hmm.
get brittle. So we had to get her a whole new grill. And in town, it would have been $45,000.
God.
And we started researching like high end dental work in Mexico, in Algodones, right there on the other side of Yuma. And
Mhm.
it's that town is just for
Just
dental.
dentist.
There's
Yeah.
nothing there but dental and optics.
Mhm.
So when I we drove down there for 10 grand, she got a beautiful grill, top and bottom, whole thing, 10 grand. And I went and got my eyes checked down there for like $10 and got my new
Mhm.
prescription. Came back on, it's not Zillow, it's something similar to Zillow where you can get your eyeglasses. But anyways, um, super thankful for that because 40 grand or 45 grand for just having teeth, when teeth are like really, obviously they're important, when you smile or when you talk, people get very self conscious of that if they don't have good teeth. Um, so just being able to go down there and
You know,
a fraction of it.
you bring up a point of, probably we'll transition here a little bit. The
It always
CEO that got um,
well, yeah, the assassinate?
assassinated in New York, um, and I'm in that world of
Yeah,
the group benefits and all that stuff. So
really, yeah,
it's scary, like, and I see both ends of it because, like, I'm in the insurance world. I understand the ins and out, how it works, why it's there. Insurance is there for those what if moments,
right,
and you're paying for a benefit to help you cover those costs.
right,
And the way that insurance works is people pay into a pool, and not everybody's going to go to the doctor's office and get checked out. So that pool grows because it's also invested,
right.
and there's denials, unfortunately. You know what I mean? Like, especially if pre-existing conditions happen, or somebody bought a policy and they have pre-existing conditions and all that stuff.
Sure.
That stuff exists in our world. So, and it can get very emotional, especially if it's yourself or if it's your loved one.
Yeah,
They terminal illnesses happen all the time. Like, people get cancer, they get tumors and this and that, and they obviously look to their insurance because that type of stuff is expensive. You go to the doctor's like, hey, you have cancer. It's going to be $100,000 to start chemo. You know what I mean? Do you have insurance? No, I don't. Um, or if you do, like, you go through the approval process and everything needs to line up in order for the insurance company to typically say, yeah, we'll cover this. A lot of times it does, but there's all those situations that are, not picture perfect, when filing a claim. And those are the tough conversations that the claims representatives have to pass on the bad news and all that stuff.
yeah,
And it's seems, I mean, from what I read in the news, I'm not sure if this gentleman had either himself or a family member had denied claims and he got radicalized because of that. I'm not sure if he read into it or not, but he ended up taking this man's life. You know, it's sad because this man was 50 years old. He had wife, kids.
Yeah. I
Uh,
don't think that I think it was more of a statement of I honestly don't think that was the man denying claims for people,
yeah, he
but
wasn't directly doing it. You know what I mean? Like,
it was the, one of the tops of the blocks of the pyramid of that network. And it was a very bold statement to say, hey, like we're being rejected, I don't know that guy's story. I don't even know if they got the right guy, but uh,
I'm with you. Like, there's just too many inconsistencies with the
yeah,
story and all that stuff that
yeah. Yeah, like the guy's eyebrows, he had like a unibrow in one picture, and then next one they're like mine, like, which
backpack straps were a different
I have
color.
to color my eyebrows just to get him to show up on my fair skinned face, dude. But like,
Yeah, the
literally,
guy's backpack strap was different colors.
yeah, I
Um,
mean, and he could have changed.
he could have.
Uh, I've got people, that do investigations for a living, and I'm pretty sure they would agree that there's something amiss. There's something that's either way. This gentleman that probably was just fortunate enough to have the high up position in his company, however he got there. He took the brunt of frustration out of from some person that had a 3D printed gun and a 3D printed suppressor, and who knows? You can spin this in a million directions, and you can say, "Oh, now we're going to ban suppressors, or now we need to have more laws into suppression." Well, if you can 3D print something, you can literally you could make those things. You know, I'm into firearms. I'm a 2A guy. All of my stuff is legit. It's all form ones that you need, form ones, form fours, all of that stuff to be, a lot of my couple of my rifles are double tax stamped because I want to make sure that I'm doing it right. It's for all lawful purposes. But if you have a printer and you have a formula to make something, you can literally make whatever you want. And that's the rumor too. Like the guy had a 3D printed gun and 3D printed suppressor, and that's why it wasn't cycling.
That's some of the stuff that I just like. I'm still questioning. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
it
there's
could have just been crappy ammo, and
could have
it
been
could have
crappy,
been
dirty ammo. The spring could have been dirt. There's so many variables. There's so many things that. But that what really bothers me there is like you don't hear really much for a few days, and then all of a sudden they're like, okay, we got the guy, we got manifesto, we got gun, we got this, we
yeah.
got all back to back. You know what I mean? Like,
Well, meanwhile, they keep us baited on that story. Other stuff popping off. Diddy's still in prison, or
we got we
Did he
got the
still locked down?
UFOs.
We got UAPs or whatever they're calling them now.
Yep.
I saw one tonight and sent you the video of it.
Yep.
I made every night. Me and my kid cruise around in our side by side and look at Christmas lights. And tonight, I felt like Ray Liotta from Goodfellas driving around, and I kept looking out. I kept looking up, like, "Do you see that?" Well, my kid, 15 years old, has been kind of reading and seeing things about the drones and these things, and the radio station that just got taken over by some weird sounds over in New Jersey, and so a little bit freaked out. So I was trying to record a little bit of it, and then it was like, can we just look at Christmas lights? Like this is bugging me out. So I stopped trying to capture the video. I got home and the drone was still right
Hovering.
there. Like it was over like just east of us, and so I made that video, and I was like, "It's right here." And then there was two more that you couldn't see. That was like hiding behind other houses, but that one was huge. I mean, it was massive. I was kind of like low key trying to get closer to it without giving it away. What I was doing, when I was like, "Oh, let's go to these other houses and see this neighborhood." And once we got up on it, I was like, mental note, this thing is big. Like
Yeah.
it's probably like 40 feet by 40 feet. Like it's big. And it didn't have like normal flashy things on it. Um, and I was like, okay, when we get back, if it's still there, I'm gonna take a video of it. Took a video of it, panned my camera to the right, went to go back and see where it was, and it was gone. And so, I mean, I zoomed in to show you in the footage, and I was like, it's not doing it justice because videos don't ever do it justice. In person, you're just like, okay, now I get it because I've been watching a lot of those pop up.
Yep.
I'm like, I mean, but you see it in person and you're like, okay, what is happening? And why is there so many sightings? What is going on? People are complaining about their GPSs and their cars not working properly, and their car stuff's freaking out. Their CarPlay is disconnecting, and when these things are around, and then that video or that news link I just sent you about the GPS attack, that could be it could happen, where it's interrupted and what that would cause, and it's like, what's the real distraction for? What is happening? What's really happening?
And I think for the most part, people are asking questions. I'm on X a lot, and I see a lot of these videos on there, and you do see like, what the heck is going on, man? And there's some theories that are going out there. I'm leaning towards one. It is us. Like it's our own.
Yeah,
It's our own drones that we're throwing up in the air. Our
yeah.
own government, and I also do believe that I've heard, just for me, just reading and watching a lot of theories out there, but I do think that they're probably sniffing, nuclear material.
Which is possible.
It's
We've had
very
open
possible at this.
borders.
Yeah, exactly. And that was going
Yeah,
to be my other connection is this open border that we had for the last 4 years. Millions of people have poured in unvetted. Some of them, went through the checkpoint process, but how many didn't go through the checkpoint
yeah.
process?
I wish I was more prepared for that. I would have researched the guy. There was a guy that was like a well-known terrorist. I
I
don't
know what
know
you're
if it
talking
was
about.
ISIS but he literally walked up to the camera and is like, you don't know who I am, but soon you will." And he like just walks off. And
Hmm.
it turned out to be he was one of the guys. Who knows? They're literally letting people walk over with whatever they were carrying. They could have had stuff to assemble something,
Hmm.
and I think that, they believe that, you know, they don't want to cause people to panic. And we definitely don't want to cause people to panic. But
True.
I do enjoy a good tinfoil hat story. But like tonight, I started looking up more in the skies on purpose. And I was like, that thing hasn't moved since we've gone out cruising around. And we were gone for like an hour. And, it stayed there. And in in the video, it disappeared, like, right in front of my face. When I panned back over, it was gone. So, um, I've always needed to see something personally. Like, I've never seen a UFO. I've never seen, any of that stuff. I do think that we are silly to think that we're the only ones in our multi-universe stuff that's out there. But, like, it would be kind of pretentious of us all to think that we're just the only humans, and or not necessarily humans, just only living beings that have technology. But I've never seen it. And I don't know what I saw. I know it was massive. I know it wasn't a backyard Bob drone that somebody just bought at Costco and was flying. It was
Hmm.
way too high. It was way too big, and it hovered for way too long in the same spot. And the other 3 that I saw over just about, like, I don't know, maybe 2 miles away, um, those were just kind of like doing this weird, like, they would switch spots and they'd go away and they'd come back. And yeah, it was strange. My buddy tonight texted me and said, out in Buckeye, Arizona, he sent me a picture of it. I don't know if you can see this, it's probably too bright. But he said there was 3 bright lights, and then they scrambled the jet to fly between them. And, so he's kind of starting to open his eyes, literally open it, like, just look up more at night, like, usually, like, around when the sun goes down. Just go outside and look around, see what you
Hmm.
see. And if you see something, I mean
Record it. you know,
I mean,
Save it for later.
record
You
it.
never
I mean,
know when that might come
yeah,
up again.
not saying like you know, I'm jumping on board with this whole, like, invasion of drones or whatever, but there's lots of theories. There's an Iranian theory,
Yeah, I saw that
like,
one too.
yeah, they've somehow decided to send a mothership over or several motherships over that deploy thousands of drones that are way big, like, but they're talking about, like, bigger than a football field. How did that get here? How did it how did it under like how did it under fly under the radar, literally fly under the radar. And
or floated under the radar,
yeah,
right?
yeah. So what kind of technology is out there? And I think like if you really want to open up the tinfoil hat theory, like I don't think that first of all, why do these UAPs and those why do they have lights on them? Like why do they want to be seen? They don't need to have lights on them, but it's do they want us to go, hey, what's that? Like literally like the shiny object syndrome, or is it our own drones searching for something? Which is possible because these things are so freaking huge that
Mhm.
there's no way that like a normal drone guy, I know friends that fly drones for a living for real estate and for whatever. And they're small, they're tiny, they're not huge at all. This thing was like 40 feet long by 40 feet wide. It was huge, you know. So I don't know, man. I mean, I have lots of friends that are in privacy saying something's going on. But like, you almost sound like a crazy person if you say, if you really think that you really go out and say, "Hey, man, this is happening." You know,
I mean,
the
I think at this point we're allowed to speak out loud and say, "Hey, I think this is happening. Prove me wrong." You know what I
yeah,
mean? Like
yeah,
there's just we I mean, black pill me right now because I don't trust my government. You know what I
yeah.
mean? Like,
Well, nobody wants to show up, like looking like Alex Jones, or
right?
somebody that's just far out there, like Rush Limbaugh or Alex Jones. No, I don't think. I think that certain people are willing to take that backlash of being a crazy, like wild man, and really be vocal about it. But I mean, if you just look around a little bit and you just do your own fact finding,
Because
make
if
your
it
own
is a
decision.
security issue, obviously they're not going to say, "Hey, America, this is going on." They don't want to
Mhm.
create, like you said earlier, they don't want to create that mass panic or whatever,
Right.
which is fine. You know, that's the responsible thing to do. But
Sure.
but when they do either find something or they can't sweep it under the rug, they have to tell the American people. It's like, hey
Just
guys,
like with just like with COVID. I mean, that's coming out now. Like the whole COVID thing and the vaccination, and Fauci just did a they just released a video of him in court testifying that
yep,
saying,
his own words.
if you make someone's life hard enough, they'll comply.
Hmm.
And so, and they did that to a lot of people. My dad got the shot. He wanted to travel. People
Teachers,
wanted to be.
nurses, firefighters, police officers.
I've got incredible good friends that are Marines, that are Marines. But to stay in the Marines, they had to get the shot. And as a government or federally owned person, you can't say no. You either just get dishonorably discharged and you kick down the row, or you comply. Just those guys get blasted with all kinds of shots if they have a tour. If they have to go, if they get kicked over to wherever overseas, they have to get blasted with shots. They just do it, and not question it. But like I had friends that literally lost their hearing for 3 weeks after the shot.
Hmm.
Um, my dad had, heart issues. He had to have surgery and have his valves replaced. And he's a healthy dude his whole life. Never one surgery in his life. Never had any heart issues. Um, so that's one of those things. Like if I see it, if I've experienced it, then there's something going on. There's something to it. And you want to think that doctors have your best interest, but I think they're just following doctrine that they're not
Yeah,
really
yeah,
doing.
exactly.
It's
They're just following what
yeah,
big pharma is saying
yeah.
for them to collect their big, commission, or I don't even know what they call them,
Well,
compensation checks. You know what I mean?
could
For
be, but I mean, even like statins, right? Like, so if you have high cholesterol, they want to put you on a statin. They want to have, they want to start this whole medicine for you. Well, I saw my mom go on a statin. Her health was declining. She had fatigue. She had all kinds of stuff happen, and her health just kind of dominoed. That's not what eventually took her out of this world, but who knows? I mean, once you start taking medicine, and you have other medicines that need to be taken for that medicine, and you start biohacking yourself, and now you have a pill box full of your Monday through Sunday,
Well, that's
and
one of the
those are
things that encouraged me, and then what I really liked about what's his name, Robert F. Kennedy,
yeah,
about his whole approach of we need to take a step back and revisit our health as a nation. Our medicines, our food, our ingredients, our chemicals that are being placed in either both food and products.
mm,
Like, like as a nation, we do need to take a step back because you look at cereal boxes from two different countries. One country is all natural, whole grain, this and that. You look at
mm,
our cereal box, red 40, blue coloring, yellow coloring,
yeah,
all this preservative stuff. Look at our children, they're overweight.
yeah,
Look at, even us, like we grew up in an era where this stuff didn't exist, like Gatorade was more natural flavorings or more actual real juice than what it is today. It's literally sodium. I don't even know what. I'm sure they have some type of antifreeze in them at this
yeah.
point.
The liquid Advil gels. My wife's celiac, so she can't have any wheat, no gluten. The We just found out that the liquid Advil gels that she takes or we take when we need to take them, they have wheat in them. For why? It's literally just there's no reason for it. And she's like, I take it and I feel better, but I also feel worse. The whole domino effect of having celiac disease. It crazy, and it's not all the gel brands. It's just like there's just a few. Like
Right, right.
there's a Target brand I think that's gel. That's not, but um, it explains a lot. Like, why are you putting this stuff in our food and
It's like,
in
are
our
they making
medicine?
are making us sick to buy pills? You know what I mean? Is that what's happening?
Yeah,
Instead, and vice versa. Like, is our medicines actually curing us or keeping us sick? You know,
100%. Yeah, it's I don't. That's another theory of like
I
you
mean,
know
call it a conspiracy right now, folks. But like, let us know in the comments below. Like, really, like we've dumped
yeah,
so much money in cancer, so much money in like even in like the AIDS epidemic and all this. Have we really found cures? Like,
yeah,
like we in the flu, itself, like have we really found millions of dollars go to these companies and this and that? It's possible that they're holding out on the cure, but why would they cure people? Because they're making money.
right,
Tinfoil hat moment right there. You know what I mean? Like,
for sure.
why
No,
would they
yeah,
cure? Why would they eradicate a illness when they're making money off of it right now?
yeah, and I don't want to. I don't think nurses and doctors by any means want to make people sick,
I agree.
but I think they follow a care protocol that they've been taught. Just like with anything, if you say you learned martial arts at a school that was kind of like, not the greatest, but you learned all the things and you can teach. And you go and teach those things because that's what you learned.
Well,
And they're not necessarily the best, but
what did
now
they
you
ask you when you go get checked? What are your symptoms? I mean,
right.
like, I got a cough. Well, take this, it'll knock the edge off. It doesn't gonna
Yeah,
cure it's not gonna cure it.
yeah,
You know what
yeah.
I'm saying? Like,
Jamie Foxx just did a special on Netflix, which I kind of barely got through. I didn't really believe I didn't believe it. Like he was in my opinion, he was super acting. I don't think he told the right I don't think he told the true story. Oh, that's the thumb. I don't think he told the right stories, but he told a story. And he never had a tear. He acted like he was crying. His daughter was crying, but he had, he had the stroke. Um, he said that when he went to the hospital to get checked out, they gave him a cortisone shot and sent him home. That was like they didn't check for anything else. And then finally they went to another hospital, and that's when they were like, "Yeah, he's got a brain bleed, like he had a stroke," and they started treating it, as he needed. But, that was part of the whole medical thing was like, what what doctor would have said, "Oh, these are the symptoms that you had? Oh, just hit him with a cortisone shot and send him home. He's fine." You know what I mean? Like, what was the thought process What was that doctor thinking, the original doctor that saw him? if that's even true. But I mean, that's the story he told. So um, I thought I went in with every intention thinking he was going to tell us that Diddy poisoned him,
Hmm.
because that's what we heard on the internet. So of course it's true. Right? So,
Hmm.
but he was very specific to make sure that he said that didn't happen. But who knows? I mean, if you look up a picture of him before all this happened, he looked a completely different person. Now he looks completely different. So something went wrong. But
He
the
got
real story
cloned.
is
He
you'll
got
never
cloned.
know. One of those only God knows what happened, man.
Did you hear what I said? He got cloned.
Oh yeah, he got cloned. Yeah, it's not really him.
It's like
I mean,
Avril Lavigne's not here.
yeah. And was it um God, the kid is Taylor Swift, something Ramsey Jr. No, something Benet Jr. That the little girl that was killed.
I don't know that one.
Oh, hold on, I gotta. While we're talking, uh,
No, but I hear you. I think like I think people are starting to question, which I think we should be questioning as a society. Who's like, is this the best? You know what I mean? Like, I think right now we're in a transition that where we are going to get the best, and that's why I'm hopeful about these next few years. The whole Elon Musk, Vivek, Ramaswamy, Robert F. Kennedy. These are people that have been influential in our lifetime, and they're going to put their genius. These are really unique people. You know what I mean? Like they're gonna do some. I hope that they do some good here for us, for the good of the nation.
oh, 100%. I think it was Katy Perry.
And it's abnormal to say that they have the nation's best interest, because we haven't heard that type of talk in forever. That whole questioning things and looking at bureaucracy, looking at America first. I hate to say it that way, but it is putting America first. American families. America's
Yeah.
health, America's financial um, uh, uh, status in the world, financial status here. So it's just weird to say, it's like, hey, are these people really going to take care of us? Because a lot of people talk a big game, you know what I mean? So
Yeah. It's Katy Perry is John Benet Ramsey.
that
The
she got replaced.
Well, they're saying that the death of the soul was faked. It was actually John. That's the internet theory.
A lot of internet
Yeah.
theories out there today.
I got my I got my people mixed up. Not Taylor Swift. I don't want you to write a song about us.
Please don't. Or
Yeah,
maybe do
no.
make us famous. I'll
Maybe
take it.
do, yeah. But yeah, so there's a lot of theories out. It's just encourage you guys to do your own research because you never really know. And it's where you're doing your research too. You can, if you've ever Dr. Googled yourself for your symptoms, you have herpesiphilates, or you've got everything. You can go down a spiral of of the wrong information. Make sure your sources are like some, no source or
Well, we'll transition here. What's your take now that, because this last election cycle, I really feel that people stopped listening to legacy media, CNN, Fox News, MSNBC, all those names that you would see on cable news, even on regular local like TV. People started listening to podcasts.
oh,
Literally,
the podcast revolution is huge,
it's
The
here
only
and it's not going anywhere.
Yeah, the only regret I have about ours is that it didn't start sooner,
Right?
and I mean, we may not, we're always working on our format and things where we really don't have a format as far as we just get together and chop it up. Um, but, you know, if you look at the big dogs like, Two Bears in a Cave, Joe Rogan, Theo Vaughn, to name just a few, like, they have,
TBD podcasts. Like,
yeah, Your Mom's House, all those guys, it's, I would much rather be entertained by something like that because they are just being real, which is appreciative, and they're just carrying on, with a friend and or have guests on that they choose, and they go from there, and it always works out. It's always good, it's always something that's funny or informational, and
Something new, something refreshing. It's actually down to earth. It's not scripted. It's not, programmed, like that. I think that's what I loved about it. I watched actually quite a few of them. Theo Vaughn, PBD. Um, where did Trump go? Even the Joe Rogan podcast, you know what I mean? That
yeah,
3 hours, you know what I mean, worth of
yeah.
a conversation, like where in if they go to Fox, they get literally just about 20 minutes worth of an interview, and it's
Yeah.
biased questions. Let it be, from Fox News, let it be from, you know, the other news networks.
I
I
think you
love.
really
Go
I think
ahead.
you really find out who someone is, like, on hour 2, right? Like, anybody
A
uh,
facade and
can put on a show for an hour,
yeah,
but really when you just start to get to the nuts and bolts of a conversation, that's why, like, a lot of my best pal, AJ, that I chat with a lot, and my other buddy, one of my other best buddies, Jay, that I chat with a lot, and even you, as well, like, we don't time just goes by, we have no idea, like, I'll look at the clock, I'm like, "It's already been an hour?" Like,
mm,
and then we just wait and chat again on the podcast, but, like, there's when you're just genuine, that comes out, and so I think with, like, guests that you don't really know, that duration is really important because 'cause you'll start to learn, that person is eventually just going to either engage in conversation or the podcast ends. So those 3 hour, 4 hour, Elon, I think, was on for almost 4 hours last time they just chop it up and they just have a lot of interesting stuff to talk about, and it's something that everybody's thinking about. And you have two really big names talking in a room. That's cool. So it keeps the like I've watched them all, of the big dogs like
right.
come through, and I'm examining how they did it, how their transitions are good. Buddy that watches our podcast all the time, he's like, "Man, you guys transition so well." I'm like, "It just flows because we're just chopping it up. We're not. There's nothing. I don't have anything written down here to lead us at all. Like
It's
if you look at my
unscripted,
desk,
guys. Literally we're just going off the top of mind right now
yeah,
and giving our thoughts. Nothing
yeah,
scripted here.
my desk is blank. I just have this keyboard, and that's it. It's, uh,
I got keyboards and mouses,
yeah, keyboard, mouses, and a glass of wine
computers.
tonight. But I mean, it's I think it's important to just uh to be real all the time, and then you can just get right to it. You don't have to wear someone down for 2 hours before they start to just kind
Or,
of sink into the groove.
or like start rolling your eyes and be like,
Yeah,
this is just so fake.
start yawning.
Yeah.
Well, I had a long night.
I
But
think
yeah, and I
that
think
I
that's
think that that was and going back to the elections, like if you heard, Donald Trump's conversations, the hours, because he did a whole bunch. Like he did hours worth of conversations. I won't even call them interviews because they were literally conversations.
yeah,
He did hours, and every single conversation was different.
yeah,
About his family, about his vision, about people he's surrounding himself with, and all this stuff. And he just went through it. And then
yeah.
when you would hear, you know, Kamala Harris, I can even give her talking points, turning the page. You know what I mean? Like,
It's a bunch of small talk, and small talk wears off after an hour or so. And asking how you been, how's the weather, how's your job, and we do that before we start our podcast. How you been, bro? Like it's been a minute,
yeah,
and we catch up with the small talk just because we care about each other. But like we people watching don't want to know about that stuff. Like we're just as friends going, all right, now let's bust out a podcast together. Um and oh shit, I forgot I was going with that. Um when I watched Trump do Joe Rogan, that's what I was going with. He goes on a walkabout. You know, he'll tell the story, and that story just goes on a walkabout, right? And like eventually he'll come back as long as you can bring him back to the question.
Because the man
And
likes to talk and tell about his life
yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
everything.
And I find myself doing that with customers, with people. Like I will overshare the whole scheme of the story, and then eventually come back to what we're talking about.
I'm a
Um,
storyteller too.
just
Like,
to be relatable, like I'm not a robot. I'm not just, I'm not just here for business, or I'm not just here for, like, let me tell you, about all of this, and we'll get back to it. But like as Joe was trying to reel him back in, he's like, I know you go out on your stories, but I was like, but how was it on your first day?
hmm
Like, it was like reeling them back in, and that can be challenging for somebody, but it's the same time like, okay, yeah, we are doing a podcast, and when we do our live podcast too, we have to, this is essentially live, even though we're not live right now, but we don't really do editing. See what happens. There's key points, and
hmm
however the software goes for us, we post it, and we get the hits on it, and we're grateful for that, and it's the but like you said before, like the era of the podcast is much more entertaining than mindlessly thumbing through memes or listening to news stations. If you can constantly try to educate yourself, and if you find value in something, you should listen to it. And you don't, find something else that you find value in. My wife, when she's not taking care of all of us and the dogs and her mom and her dad and the group home and all the stuff, like, she's if I walked into the bedroom, if she's in there, she's listening to a podcast about something that she's interested in. She's
hmm
listening to, a few people that she follows, that most of the time it's about being the best person she can be. And I admire that about her, because like I will listen to music. I will watch mindless music. I will scroll on Instagram, guilty of all of those pleasures, but she's literally always listening to something that makes her even cooler to me. Because I'm like, how are you always just focused on being a better person? And that's who I strive to try to be too. Although I am guilty of technology, man. I love rabbit holes, and I love tinfoil hat stories and all this stuff. She had no idea about the drones until tonight. And I told her, I'm like, you haven't heard about
You
this?
know what's funny? My wife is kind of like on the same boat. She's like, "Did you hear about these drones?" I was like, "Babe, that's like 3 days old. You need to get on X. Like
That's like, yeah,
like
it's like a century. It's lit. Yeah.
it's like
It's,
it's been popping over here. I got pictures. I'm like looking at her like, look, like this is what
yeah.
they're looking like right now. But and I just kind of like I've lost. Not that I had full faith, because maybe because of my generation. Um, I never really listened to the news stations.
Yeah.
They're not relatable to me. You know, especially like I'll say it, like Don Lemons, the Sean Hannity's, like what's a Gerbert Guntherall or whatever his name is, like the four whatever on Fox. Like I just
Yeah.
don't connect with those people. They're like, and I'm giving names on both sides of the news field, just because like they'll when they talk, they're giving their opinion. They're not giving you the news. Like
Right.
they already have a bias to how they're presenting the material to you. And
I
that
always say the best thing you can watch on the news stations is the weather. And most of
it,
that's wrong
I was
too.
just even gonna say they get it
Yeah.
wrong. Even
Yeah.
it, they'll say this: there is 1% of chance that it's gonna rain today, and it sprinkles. They're like, I told you. You know,
Yeah.
they're like
It's like one of the only professions you can be
wrong.
like wrong every time and still have a job,
But yeah,
but
like when I hear news or I read a headline or something like that, I do listen to different podcasts that bring up these topics, and I hear different perspectives, and I make my own analysis off of all that. And I think in this world where we're fed information really fast, that's what as a nation that we should be doing. It's like
Yeah.
you read a headline, don't just assume that that's true. You know,
Yeah.
watch
Well, my wife's
a
the
few
worst at that.
a
I'll
few
show her
different
something. She's like,
takes.
"What source did that come from?" And I'm like, "Oh, I don't know." She's like, "You didn't check?" I'm like, it was from, WBAC channel 7 in like, you know, Pocata, Idaho or something." And she's like, "That's not even a real outlet. What are you talking about?" I'm like, "But it's still interesting." You know what
Yep.
I mean? So, yeah, I'm guilty of it, man. I'm super guilty of jumping down the rabbit holes of all the dumb stuff that we're exposed to.
Well,
But
like
I also kind of enjoy it. I kind of enjoy the wildness of the internet.
it's like, did you see this? It's like
Yeah.
it's a 3D animated UFO.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Yeah. It's like you can see the stick holding it
Yeah.
up.
It's real.
Yeah. Like I said, I mean, if I didn't see that tonight in person, I would have never really thought anything of it. I would have thought this is all garbage and stuff. That was the first time I mean, and obviously, like, it something drone-ish. It wasn't I've never seen a UFO. I've never been, you know, taken by by an alien by any means, but it kind of opened my eyes. You just, that whole what is that? Independence Day. If you just look up, you'll see. You're not supposed to look up. That's the whole point of that story. But like, if you literally just like open your eyes in the evenings and look around, you might see stuff in the sky that if you're willing to, if you're looking for it, you'll see it. And you'll be like, oh, that's not normal. And it's something that we see flashing lights all the time. We see things in the sky all the time. But if you really like start looking, you might see something that stands out to you. That's not exactly normal. What is that? Why is that here?
Mhm.
But yeah, man.
Well, I think we're at that time. We'll do our exit speech here just because, hey guys, we really appreciate you guys jumping on here. If you made it this far, that means you enjoyed the podcast. Let us know in the comments what was your favorite part. Ask questions, interact with us because we definitely love reading the comments. We love responding to the comments. And Ryan, do you have anything that you like to close
Yeah,
us off
no,
with?
it's good to be back hanging out with you, man, and doing
Same.
these again. I think that we just, life gets busy, life gets life, and so we're glad to be back. We're really appreciative of you guys following us, listening to us, subscribing to us. It makes a big difference on the algorithm. Follow us on Instagram. Um, we have an X page,
We
I
have an
believe.
X page.
Yeah.
We have our
So
YouTube page here.
yep. So we really, we appreciate it. We did skip the highs and lows. We'll get to that next time. But honestly, we kind of got to it right at the beginning. We're both kind of just super stoked on life with blessings and all the things that are happening in the businesses and our families' lives and stuff. So um, this time of year can be hard. If you've lost people, I have with family members, lots of them. And it's just, focus on the ones that are here, love those people, be kind to people out there, 'cause you never really know who's going through something. As we always say, be kind for no reason. It's really, really, really important. Um, one of the coolest things I heard my kids say at the Goodwill was, was really kind to the person checking them out, checking out the family when they were like paying for everything, and got like a crazy discount, and came home, was really excited to tell me, Dad, I was really nice to this person and I was kind, and they took care of me. And I'm like, that's awesome. That's part of like just being genuine, being actually thoughtful. How was your day? Well, things of that nature. So teaching a child, 15-year-old to going on 16, those key things, just like our podcast always says, just be kind for no reason. It really does make a difference. Liking, subscribing, being just showing some support lets us know you're watching, and we really truly appreciate that. So as we go into the holidays, we're still going to try to do a bunch of we're going to try to do a bunch of podcasts to
We'll
get
catch up,
caught back up.
ladies and gentlemen. We'll definitely
Yeah,
catch up here, but be on the lookout. Brian and I and a buddy of ours, we're in the mix. of getting together and writing some new music. I think that was one of our goals, along with starting this podcast, is introduce and letting an outlet to our creativity. Also, having real discussions, but also having that outlet of writing music. We're two musicians. We've been in the scene. We've toured. We've played with large name bands out there that you see or hear on the radio, and that's why we created this, for one, to record the process of our discussions, but also an outlet for our creativity. So keep an eye out for that. Definitely like, comment, subscribe to follow that as we journey down that avenue this end of the year.
100%. We'll see you guys soon. We'll do a live podcast soon as well. Comment if you have a topic you want us to talk on, to touch base on, and let us know. We're always open to ideas. We love a good conspiracy theory or just anything you want to talk about. Let's talk about it.
All right, guys. Thank you.